Welcome back to TowMate University, Module 3. This is emergency lighting. So, TowMate emergency lighting is where things change a little bit. PowerLink being kind of our flagship product line in the emergency lighting space. It allows us to send commands over power wires, not extra signal wires, not additional activation wires. So, these products are pretty well power and ground, and the controller required to operate them, of which there are a few styles, similarly operates just going to power and ground. So anything on that circuit will see a signal, much like CAN bus, but without the signal wire. We're sending digital signal over the power wire. And again, if you watch the introduction, this technology we brought to the market in 2011 and have had a long road of development early on and have worked out the kinks. PowerLink is now a very stable platform for the last several years. Has been a very stable platform with best practice for installation, and you're going to see a little glimpse of PowerLink 2.0 that utilizes a brand new chipset that makes it nearly indistinguishable from a hardwire switch. Everything is so responsive and just operates flawlessly. So let's dive in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We've got our PowerLink products, which are 2-wire installation. These require a PowerLink controller to operate. That controller sends signals over the power wires to operate the bar, or various PowerLink lights. And they all maintain full functionality. So 2 wires, but yet you have arrows, strobe, work lights, alley lights, etc. All just over 2 wires. With this technology, we are oftentimes able to utilize existing wiring, specifically for the add-on lights like our stop tail turn that also have integrated amber or whatever color strobes, white work lights, all in a light assembly that plugs into the factory harness. Same with marker lights, 2 and 2.5 inch markers. We also have some oval markers that operate in this manner where you can literally utilize the factory wiring that's already there. You don't have to run new wire all the way to the back of the truck, and you've got strobes, you've got work lights. So this is just some of the beauty of the PowerLink systems that we'll dive into. There are also adapters available in the PowerLink universe where you've got, a standard surface mount strobe, for instance. You can activate it off of our PowerLink controller utilizing an adapter that would then just tap into that, existing factory wiring, catch the signal, and activate the light. And finally, the piece de la resistance, all of this is made in the US and backed with a lifetime warranty on electronics and LEDs. No other manufacturer that I'm aware of is doing that. We've been doing it for 40 years with every product we've ever made, all made here in the USA. So with that said, we're going to look at PowerLink, which is very tried and true platform, fully built out with a range of lights. And then we're going to talk a little bit about PowerLink 2.0, which is really going to open some doors, the dawn of a new era, so to speak. Now, just to touch on our non-PowerLink lighting, because not everybody needs all of that. This is going to be more conventional wiring, power to a wire. That function activates. Every function requires a wired input. May appear identical, for our overhead bars, especially, they share a lot of the same parts. The same light heads go into them. So, they're going to appear identical, but still have unique properties versus, other light bars out there, even though it's not a PowerLink. And, that is to say, made in the US and lifetime warranty are just 2 of those. So let's go ahead and dive into the PowerLink side of things. So the first element of a PowerLink system is going to be the controller. We currently have 3 types of controllers available for PowerLink. We have our touchscreen controller, which is kind of the high end. You've got up to 8 commands that you can have on the control pad. It also has, for the towing application, has an integrated IMON feature. So if you watch the last module on wireless tow lights, The IMON, of course, is the reminder system that lets you know if you leave your tow light behind. We have that functionality built into a version of the touchscreen for the towing side. It's a sleek, modern design, and it is an upgrade option. So when you see the price of a light bar, this is not included in that price. It is extra money to add it to that system or substitute it for that system. Next is the 6-button touchpad. This is the PLC-TX6, and you've got, again, up to 6 functions. So this is what is included with an overhead light bar. You've got left arrow, center out, right arrow, strobe, work light if equipped. Otherwise, it's an auxiliary, and then an auxiliary. So auxiliary, really, that comes into play when you're adding additional PowerLink lights like the stop tail turns or the markers. You can program them to any of the other buttons as well, but you can also independently activate them from the light bar. We also have, some layouts on the 6-button where you have, to account for alley lights or takedowns, things like that. So those are the 2 prefab controllers. And then we have a control card. Now, the control card comes into play where, you've already got factory switches on the dash or headliner that you want to utilize to operate your light bar. This accounts for that. So, there's a little bit more to the install because the other 2 pads, they just go to power and ground. This one's going to output to power and ground, but then you have 8 wires that would correspond to like the 8 functions on that touch screen. Left arrow, center out, right arrow, strobe, work light, and then the rest auxiliary, unless it's a special build bar with takedowns and alleys, etc. But each one of those wires has to go to a switch in order for that function to operate on the bar. So those are the 3 controller styles for the PowerLink, the current PowerLink systems. Next, you've got, of course, the light bars. So the modern PowerLink light bar system prior to 2.0 is the PCX series of overhead PowerLink light bars. These bars are built modularly. So if you've got one light head on it and the end caps, that's a 7-inch bar all the way up to 100-inch lengths. So, we can build these bars on the PowerLink platform, which I need to correct myself because the 7-inch actually is not PowerLink compatible. It's a 15-inch is where it begins, and that has the real estate to allow a PowerLink motherboard to live in that bar. So from 15 inches up to 100-inch lengths, we can build a PowerLink light bar, feature rich. They are available, with dual color modules. We can do takedowns, alleys, amber arrow, but yet the rear of the bar strobe's a different color. We have these capabilities with PowerLink, and all the while it's just a 2-wire install. With the PCX series, you're going to find that everything is fully populated until you get to about 44 inches. Once we pass the 44-inch threshold, there begin to be some blanks in the lighting of the unit. Now, the reason we do that is because these things are packed with LEDs. And so by putting blanks in some spaces, we're allowing ourselves to stay at a competitive price point with similar bars on the market, all the while offering greater features, more LEDs even at that point, and just more capabilities with the bars. Those blanks, however, are very reasonably priced for populating the bar. So to fully populated bar, I think retail is like $30 or $40 more per blank, and dealers less than that. Again, they're available in dual color. Amber, red, white, blue, and green are the colors that we work with for our emergency lighting. So you can get any of those or combination thereof. All PCX light bars come standard with strobe and arrow functionality. So any PCX model is going to bare minimum have a multitude of strobe patterns and arrow patterns. And then, of course, you can add stop tail turn, which, since it's a 2-wire system, the way our stop tail turn works is it's wireless. The bar gets power, your taillights are on, and it includes a hardwire wireless transmitter that taps into your stop tail turn wiring, permanently mounts in the truck, and that'll send a signal to the overhead bar as well as your TowMate wireless tow light. So it all works together as a system at that point. Um, so you've got the work light functionality, rear work lights, forward alley lights, etc. All of these options are available with PowerLink. So now let's look at the add-ons. And again, this is really just a very high level overview of these product lines. I would encourage you to dive into our website, our digital catalog. Take a look at what these products are and all the variances and how they might fit on your next project. For the combo lights. And this is where things get really cool, in my opinion, because again, this is where we are direct factory replacements. On the stop tail turns, we have 4-inch round, 6-inch oval, and the kind of 3x5 rectangulars that all just plug into your standard 3-prong connector. Take the old one out, plug the new one in. You've got our controller hooked up, and now you're sending a signal to the back of the truck. It's going to activate, that light as an amber strobe or an amber white strobe, a white work light. You hit the brake or do a turn signal, it's always going to override. Even if the light is strobing amber, you hit a brake or turn signal, it's going to interrupt it with red, and there will be a delay, so there's no strobing between, and there's no confusion as to what's going on behind the vehicle. We also have light strips with this technology, surface mount light strips from 16 inches, 22 inches, and 36 inches that act as a light bar all of their own, where they have arrows, strobe, work light. It's a very low profile, slim bar that can mount, on the back of a tailgate or on the back of a service body. These are all solutions that have this technology. You can, of course, purchase the controllers a la carte and these combo lights a la carte. You don't necessarily have to have a light bar too in order to take advantage of these products. Finally, we have the marker lights I was discussing, 2-inch, 2.5-inch rounds, little oval markers as well. And I'll give you an example of something that some of our customers do with these. When they've got an overhead bar and they use our markers on the side, what they can do is they can set it up, because these lights can be trained to perform any function with any button or command from the controller. Something I didn't mention yet, the way we program is we use a magnet. So you wave a magnet over the light to change the pattern. You wave a magnet over the light to change what button it's going to respond to, what it's going to do. And once it's set until you change your mind. So what this customer in particular does, they take these lights and they'll put the markers on the side. They've got the overhead bar. When you hit a left arrow, they've trained the lights on the left side of the truck to come on as a strobe. Makes sense. That's the highway side. On the ditch side of the truck, when you have left arrow active, not only are the lights on the ditch side not flashing, but they're coming on steady, high intensity as a work light. So it's not only cutting down on distraction, it's producing usable light on the side that you're going to be working on. So, that's something that would require some rather novel wiring otherwise to accomplish. And again, we're using factory wiring. We're not even adding wires. So this is all what sets PowerLink apart as truly a cut above and a game changer for the emergency lighting side of things. And finally, if you look at the bottom right there, you've got the receiver card. This is the adapter I was talking about, where you can bring the PowerLink Advantage to other warning lights on the market. Of course, TowMate has non-PowerLink warning lights where there's just not enough real estate for the chipset, where, that's where we would recommend using these on our surface mount, some of our surface mount strobes and things of that nature. Or you can turn work lights on and off. You can also set it up to flash factory markers. It has a setting where you wire this in line of your factory marker circuit and you swipe a magnet over it, and it allows power through. So those lights are going to come on like a marker light when that circuit is active. Then you hit a button on the controller you want to flash the markers with, swipe the magnet again, and now every time you hit that button, it's going to flash the markers. Now you can swipe the magnet again to adjust the rate of flash, or it does have 2 channels, so you can alternate flash various lights, daisy chain them. Really, I like to say the only limitation is the imagination. So, PowerLink, it's really a cutting edge technology that we brought to market all the way back in 2011. And we've had a relatively wide adoption and, from various highway departments and tow truck manufacturers. But I think PowerLink 2.0 that we're going to get to here in a little bit is even going to break that nut even further and open up a world of possibilities. But before we get to that, let's talk about the next slide, which is the challenges. So when we talk about the challenges of these products, or the challenges that the installers face in the real world that allows us to offer a solution, that's what we're talking about here. So with conventional lights, you've got long multi-strand cable runs. Depending on the application, if it's a dump body or a flatbed tow truck, having to run new wire through that process where it's got to go down and back, and the bed is moving and articulating. These are things that wear out wiring over time. If you can keep from it and just utilize factory wiring that's already there, harnessed up, shielded, and everything, that sounds like a much nicer install and much less prone to failure over time. And that is what PowerLink brings to the table. Cable management and routing. Again, we're using factory wiring that's already there. So, you don't have to face that challenge. I'm going to go ahead and pull the solutions up too, so we can kind of go point by point. Move my face again. So, another thing is like on light bars that have all these functions, you've got to pin out those connectors, make sure that they're all tied to the appropriate output on a control box, etc. We are 2 wires. So let's see, limited to single activation per wire. Again, all of our activations are over 1 wire. Diodes are required if multiple switches used on one light. With ours, you just swipe a magnet over it. I want it to come on with this command. It does. I want it to do this with it. Swipe the magnet. You get there and you're set. And you can do that for every button on the controller or just one. We just kind of every little point here on the left, PowerLink addresses. Labor intensive, particularly labor intensive. When you're talking about these full build outs of vehicles with, a robust emergency lighting package, that's a lot of labor. That's a lot of shop time. That's a lot of resources that could be otherwise used to turn and burn them and increase the profitability of your shop. So PowerLink addresses all of those and provides value add based on the technology it brings to the table alone. Not to mention the functionality, not to mention the warranty. There are many points which make PowerLink a great advantage to doing business in this space. So here's a couple shots of some installs that were done recently. This is a law enforcement install on a truck that is going around some various shows with one of our partners here. You've got our law enforcement light bar on the top. That is a 47-inch bar that has blue and white for warning. You've got front takedown white lights. You've got white alley lights left and right. You've got amber arrow, but yet blue and white strobe on the rear. And so, kind of checks a lot of the boxes that modern law enforcement agencies are looking for. We've also got some unique solutions. If you look at the push bumper lights on the right side, the one on the top right is a 45-degree, 90-degree push bumper light that can go on the push bumper on a cruiser when they're in pursuit or entering an intersection. Most importantly, they're now broadcasting light at such an angle that gives advanced warning as opposed to just straight out the sides or straight forward. You're going through an intersection, you want to be getting the side folks aware of where you're at before you're in the intersection and they see the straight out lights. So that's a 4590 bracket that's utilizing our SS470 surface mount LED strobe. That's got 12 LEDs in it, 2 activation wires. It does not have PowerLink integrated, so it does require the adapter, but it's a great piece. Just below that is a forward-facing push bumper light, available in a dual or single configuration. If a push bumper is not already equipped, this is a great way to add lighting to a push bumper where it's form fit and ergonomic. PowerLink 2.0. So this is the next stage in the evolution of PowerLink lighting. This is the Infiniture series overhead light bar, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. We're going to be building out this whole line as seen before with the stop tail turns and the markers where they're multicolor. This bar has 4 colors all the way around, the standard configuration being amber, white, red, and blue. There is also an option for amber, white, red, and green that is also available. Infiniture. It consists of the light bar, a 16-button, thin as can be, control pad. That control pad has a thin cable that connects to the central control box, which then connects to power and ground. The light bar connects to power and ground. PowerLink 2.0 has a chipset that is 44 times faster than PowerLink 1.0. PowerLink 1.0 is responsive just fine, been working for years. 2.0, somehow it is still noticeably different. It is instant. It's almost on before you even touched it. PowerLink 2.0 also broadcasts over 3 frequencies. So when we're sending data over the line, it's actually sending it over 3 frequencies simultaneously, so that if there's any sort of distortion on the power line, alternator that's creating too much noise, etc., it's far more likely that our signal is going to get through over 3 separate frequencies. Finally, this bar not only has 4 colors all the way around, you've got complete control over what each pattern does. You can control the speed of the pattern, the color of the pattern, the intensity of the pattern of the pattern. You also have front cutoff as well as rear only patterns. So you can set it up where your main strobe is an amber, but then you hit a rear only function while that main strobe is going, and the rear goes to amber and blue or blue and red. You know, right now, the state of things is from state to state, sometimes county to county. They have various requirements for lighting in various situations. If you're stopped on the side of the highway, you can run amber and blue on the back, but in motion, just amber, you know, etc. So this light bar addresses that. So for all of the truck dealers out there, when you've got a special order bars for your customers, that is a thing of the past. One bar, and it pretty well addresses it all. So PowerLink 2.0, the Infiniture, this truly has infinite capabilities, hence the name. And we're very excited to bring this to market in 2026. It's available now in a 58-inch model. Today is actually February 16th, 2026. We have more sizes coming soon. At this point, it's a 58-inch model in 2 color configurations: amber, white, red, blue, amber, white, red, green. Now, the other thing about this is there is a centralized control box that has an output that corresponds to every button on your 16-button pad. Now, 5 of those buttons are off limits, so 5 of those outputs are off limits. They are the buttons that adjust the speed, color, intensity, pattern, and front cutoff. So you don't touch those outputs in the box, but you can tie other lights directly into this box without having to have an adapter to make it operate off of the PowerLink. Each of those outputs can operate up to 5 amps for a max total of 30 amps. And if you want to run anything greater than that, just tie a relay into it and you're good to go. So the full line of PowerLink 2.0 is actively under development, and we are very excited to show you what this is going to do in 2026. So I want to thank you for joining us for Module 3, Emergency Lighting from TowMate University. We hope you found it enlightening, and we look forward to seeing you back for Module 4. Thank you.